Hi, shalom everybody. I hope everybody's doing good in the name of Yahuwah through his son Yahusha. I'm going to be coming from the sealed portion. I'm going to be reading chapter 17, verses 67 through 69. I'm going to be reading about sexual lust that's prevalent in the men. But I say unto you that he shall not give his power under any other, but this power shall silently reside in him who has received all the keys of the kingdom of God, and his power is not transferable with the keys that are required of the priesthood to preach the gospel unto the world. For this is not part of this gospel. And the gospel of Christ requires a man to love his wife and cleave unto her and none else. And if a man even looks upon another woman that is not his wife to lust, to what? To lust after her, he has committed a grave sin. And except he repent, he shall be condemned before God. For God loves his daughters and will protect them from the lust and desires of men. And this power shall be used to create bodies for the spirit children of God. But in the last days, or the latter days, there shall be no need that more bodies be created for the spirits of the children of God, like unto days of old. And there will not be many men. What? And there will not be many men who are worthy enough to be allowed to take more than one woman as a wife. Uh-oh. That polygamy, no. Yea, the power of Satan, Yea, the power of Satan will rage in the hearts of men. In the what? In the hearts of men in those days. And they will begin to lust exceedingly after the daughters of men, even unlike at any other time during the history of the children of men, and their sins shall be like unto those of Sodom, even according to the prophecy of Isaiah, which he prophesied, saying, the show of their countenance does witness against them, and does declare their sin to be even as Sodom, and they cannot hide it. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Okay, moving on. Sealed portion, chapter 19, verses 78, and I'm going to jump down to 80, and then go down to 87 all the way to 92. Here we go. And this is the law of the heavens, which I have caused to be taught unto you in mortality, because of the physical strength that a mortal man has over a woman. For if a man was left to the carnal desires of his heart, then he would force himself upon a woman and cause her to accept him by his brute strength over her. But this thing is the most abominable, But this thing is the most abominable thing before God. And any man that does this thing shall be condemned by God. Okay, jumping down to verse 80. And I am saddened that there are many of you, my sons, among us who have corrupted the law of marriage. The what? And I am saddened that there are many of you, my sons, among us who have corrupted the law of marriage, as I have caused it to be taught unto you. For you deceive. What? For you deceive the women and pretend to be righteous and pretend that you are willing to fulfill the desire of her happiness, so that the woman will choose you and desire to make you her husband. And you lust after her and the dowry that is given, and not that you shall serve her and provide for her happiness. Jumping down to verse 87. And there shall be no other reason that a divorcement shall be given. For this reason, the daughters of God must be cautious. They must what? Be cautious and prove those whom they would have as their husbands. Yea, they must assure themselves that the man whom they choose as their husband, many of us make this mistake because they come off as charming and like the man of God, the man of Yahuwah and all this stuff. It's like they have this mask on, but as soon as they get comfortable, that mask come off and they become a son of Satan. And it's like, oh my God, why did I even do this? Okay, I'm going to read this verse again, 87. And there shall be no other reason that a divorcement shall be given. For this reason, the daughters of God must be cautious and prove those whom they would have as their husbands. Yea, they must assure themselves that the man whom they choose as their husband is worthy before God. What is worthy before God? And you shall test them and see if they live. If they what? They live by the commandments of God and not by the commandments of men. And if they live by the commandments of God, then shall you receive from them the happiness that you desire. That's the key thing. You gotta have Yahuwah involved. You gotta go by the commandments of Yahuwah, because through that, going through Yahuwah, you shall receive the happiness and peace that surpasses all understanding. I'm going to read this part again. And if they live by the commandments of God, then you shall receive from them the happiness that you desire. But if they live by the commandments of men, then you shall experience misery and strife in a union with them. And I'm going to add something to that. Anytime a man or a woman go by their own carnal nature, satisfying the deeds of the flesh, going by their own lust, that can also bring misery and strife. If they're moved by their lust and desires and not even care. Okay, continue on. Verse 88. And there is a sure test, my beloved daughters, that will help you, that you shall know whether a man follows the commandments of God or the commandments of men, or they shall go by their lust and desires of the flesh. For behold, it is the desired nature of all men to engage in fornication and anything like unto it, whenever they are allowed to do so by a woman. Therefore, if a man attempts fornication with you, or anything like unto it, then you shall know he disregards the commandments of God, and has followed the instincts of his own carnal desires. Just what I mentioned. Carnal desires, lust of the flesh, going by their own desires. And if it be so that you still desire this man, then you shall experience the strife of which I have spoken. And in the external worlds, your union shall not exist. And it shall be, verse 89, and it shall be that there are very few men who are righteous and are willing to obey the commandments of God in all things. There's only going to be a small number, a remnant, that's going by the commandments and precepts of God. And you shall realize that if it be so that you depend on the righteous of men to give you children, then you would be barren and childless all the days of your life. And if you are a righteous woman and are desirous to have children, then you shall be justified in creating these children with an unrighteous man, if it be so that he is chosen by you, because you cannot find a righteous man among you. And if your desires are righteous, then shall Yahuwah or the Lord ease the burden of this strife between you and your unrighteous husband, and shall bring you great joy in your posterity. And if you remain faithful all the days of your life, even that ye keep all the commandments of Yahuwah or the Lord, then shall you be blessed with the choice of a righteous husband in the kingdom of God, if that be so your desire. But if your husband is unrighteous and obeys not the commandments of Yahuwah or the Lord in all things, then you are justified in a divorcement from him. But in all these things you shall judge only according to the commandments of God, and not according to the commandments of men. Beware that you are not deceived by men, who put themselves up above you and give you commandments that are not of God. Okay, continuing on. Now, it's still the same book, sealed portion, but I'm going to be reading out of chapter 45, verses 56 through 74. Here we go. And this he hath commanded me because of the wickedness of the men in the last or latter days, who shall receive these things. For behold, they shall not understand the principle of eternal marriage, as it has been established according to the eternal laws of heaven. For there are many of you who shall believe that you shall have more than one wife in the celestial kingdom of the Father. Behold, it is true that you might have many wives, even hundreds and thousands of wives, who shall choose you, if you are righteous, to take from you the power that you have according to the Spirit, to give direction and a pattern unto them, that they might conceive and bring forth spirit children unto you. But you shall not have sexual relations with any, save it be one. See, only one, not multiple, one, who shall be sealed unto you by the Holy Spirit of promise, that the Lord has spoken of to marry. Now I am commanded to give unto you a brief explanation of the way in which the body of Jesus, or Yahusha, according to the flesh, was conceived inside the womb of Mary. And I have already given this explanation to you in the same way that you who are righteous be the eternal fathers of many spirit children according to the desires of the woman who shall reside in a celestial glory with you. But do you think that you shall consume upon your lust the relations that are pure and precious, and which are reserved as a blessing unto those who have used the power of the creation to serve others? Really? Yeah, that's the question. Yea, do you think that you shall have the sexual unions with the hundreds and thousands of women who shall be desirous to be an eternal mother in a celestial kingdom? 62. This is the verse 62. I say unto you that if you think these things, then you are not righteous men, and shall have no part in a celestial kingdom of God. Nor shall you be given the power to create spirit children. Ooh. Nor shall you have the body of a man and those parts of the body that are necessary to have sexual relations with a woman. Uh-oh. For if you think that the father engaged in this type of sexual relation with his own daughter to create the body of his son according to the flesh, then you are more unrighteous still. And if you think, 64, and if you would think that the father would do this thing to his daughter, then you have already justified this action in your own hearts as that which is righteous, and you are even more wicked still. I'm going to read that again. 64. I'm going to read it again. Listen up. And if you would think that the father would do this thing to his daughter, then you have already justified this action in your own hearts as that which is righteous, and you are even more wicked still. Ooh. For would you do that to your own daughter? Would you do that to your own daughter? Listen up, men. Behold, all ye that think these things shall look up from hell and remain in a state of awful indignation, until you have repented of such a thing. Verse 65. For behold, each woman who is righteous shall be given the choice of whether or not she desires to have a husband who is righteous, to give her children. And if she is righteous, then she does not desire this man so that she can consume her lust upon him, but she desires this man because he is righteous. Verse 66. And if her heart is pure, then she shall receive the blessings that come from having a husband, even those sexual relations that bring joy to the flesh and to the spirit, both flesh and spirit. And she shall not be required to share that relation with any other woman except it be in the flesh to bring forth children and posterity in righteousness, according to the commandments of the Father. Verse 67. And there shall be many women in a celestial glory. How many? And there shall be many, not a few, not one, not two, but there shall be many women in a celestial glory who shall choose a righteous man, that he might only give children unto them. But this shall be done unto them by the power of the Spirit of that righteous man, even as if I'm going to read this again. I messed up. I'm sorry. And there shall be many women in a celestial glory who shall choose a righteous man, that he might only give children unto them. But this shall be done unto them by the power of the Spirit of that righteous man, even as it was done unto Mary by the Father. 68. But now do you suppose that these shall not have those sensations of joy that are blessings reserved for those who are righteous in bringing forth children in eternity? 69. Yea, these shall have the power and the ability to feel these sensations according to their own will and pleasure. And those sensations which they shall experience shall be much greater and more enhanced than any such feeling that they have ever experienced in the flesh. Verse 70. But if they desire to have a husband with whom they shall be able to enjoy these feelings, then it shall be granted unto them according to their desire. Key verse on which is 71. And this is an eye-opener right here. I was wowed by it. Here we go, verse 71. Behold, the prophet Isaiah prophesies somewhat according the many righteous women that shall be left after the wicked have been destroyed from off the face of the earth, even most of the wicked who are men. I'm going to read that again. Verse 71. Behold, the prophet Isaiah prophesied somewhat concerning the many righteous women who shall be left after the wicked have been destroyed from off the face of the earth, even the most wicked who are men. And he wrote, saying, and in that day, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. And this is, you can read this in Isaiah chapter 4, verses 1 through 2. But you have a lot of these camps, a lot of these people who are so big on polygamy, they will take this and run with it. This is talking about the ratio, what I was just reading, where it says, concerning the many righteous women that shall be left after the wicked have been destroyed from off the face of the earth, which the wicked, with even most of the wicked who are the men. So it's going to be like a shortage on the men. This has nothing to do with polygamy. So verse 72. In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah, or the Lord, be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Verse 73. And Isaiah wrote these things according to the things which he understood pertaining to the kingdom of the Father, which shall be set up upon this earth after it has been purified of all unrighteousness. Verse 74. Yea, even this very earth shall be a kingdom in a celestial glory, which shall have for its inhabitants those who have the power to create children, even those who are men and women forever. And that's all I have that I'm going to read concerning the lust and desires of the men. I'm going to conclude this lesson. I hope this was edifying. I hope this was helpful. And I'm going to say to you, Shalom, and may Yahuwah and his son Yahusha give you peace, joy, and love, and fill you with the fruit of the Spirit. And may he be with you, protecting you from seen and unseen danger. Shalom, and stay strong.